the biggest Yankee fan in the Midwest. Back to the Craig Collins Show on WJBC.
That's right. It's the Craig Collins Show, AM 1230 WJBC, and I am the biggest Yankee fan in the Midwest, at least self-appointed biggest Yankee fan in the Midwest. I don't know if my guest is a huge baseball fan. I imagine not the Yankees, but Mike Kearns joins us from Nordine Remodeling. Mike, welcome to the program. Go Cubs?
Go Cubs.
Yeah, fair. Well,
wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. They've been eliminated. Doggone it.
Are you the kind of guy that switches allegiances, too, if you follow baseball? Like, once your team's
Absolutely.
out? Okay.
Absolutely not. I'm a Cub fan. I've been a Cub fan, and I'll always be a Cub fan.
Good. See, I respect those kind of people more. You can't switch just because your team's out of it. You got to cheer for next year, which the Cubs are used to doing. I kid. Nordine Remodeling, you guys can be found 309-888-4662, or you guys are on Merle Lane, Suite 205. That's 112. Mike, welcome to the program, man.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you on. So I was asking you just before throwing you on the air what title best fit all the work you do at Nordine. You're like, I guess, interior remodeling manager / whatever. You kind of do a bit of everything, I guess, for the guys. Go ahead.
Yeah, I get to go out and make contact with the customers, set appointments, do all the estimating, order the product, schedule the work, make sure the work happens properly. Pretty much, if it's here and it needs to be done, I pretty much do it on the remodeling side.
Well, there you go. So obviously, as we get closer and closer to the winter season, one of the big things that we're always told to do, and I probably neglect to do way too much because I never bring in the experts to do it, is winterize the home. And there's a lot of steps to that, right?
There are a lot of steps and a lot of things to pay attention to. Right now, this is the time of the year to be thinking about windows and siding and doors and insulation and just all kinds of things that can help you keep your home more efficient in the wintertime and much more comfortable.
And the gutters. Everybody always says the gutters.
Gutters are a big deal. As a matter of fact, right now our gutter guy is pretty busy putting new gutters on houses simply because they're full of debris from the trees, either from the summer or they never got cleaned out or they're just worn out and crooked and leaking. And there's all kinds of things to do. And one of the biggest problems with gutters not being right on a house is you get water in the basement.
Yeah.
And people don't associate the two, but it is direct correlation between bad gutters and wet basements.
All right, so before we maybe get into a checklist of different things that you guys would be looking at or working on to make sure that the home is winterized, how important is it, again, to do this? If you neglect it, I imagine you're just putting off on something that'll eventually wind up harming your home.
On a scale of 1 to 10, it's about a 10.5.
Right.
This is one of those things that you should not neglect. Your leaky windows are a huge health hazard. Not only is it cold in the house and takes a lot more fuel, but it also lets in a lot of allergens this time of the year and a great deal of dust.
Yeah.
So it's something that needs to be dealt with. If you have leaky windows, we need to take a look at them because time's a waste and get new windows put in.
When you kind of go around and see all the different maybe challenges or improvements that are available out there in the world of winterizing the individual homes that you guys service, do you find that a lot of times the energy bill is just insanely different? Because that's the first thing my brain goes to is how much better it would be to have someone like you come out and check for all the different leaky areas that exist in my home. Because as you said, the costs are going to go way down during the winter if things are correctly managed there.
Well, I'm not certain that they're going to go dramatically down. They will go down, obviously. Sure. It'll be more efficient and more comfortable. But the issue is if there is one issue in the house, there are several. And most of the time what people will do is attack the most egregious areas and take care of those, and then you can kind of work your way back from there. Clearly, the amount of insulation in the attic is going to have a large effect on the amount of heat because where's heat go? It goes straight up. And in the summertime, it radiates back down. So the attic insulation is important. The biggest loss of energy in a home comes from the box sill, believe it or not. And the best thing we can do for most people with an unfinished basement is go down and foam that box sill with 2 inches of foam. That makes an enormous difference in the amount of air loss and infiltration in a house.
Do you ever find yourself, especially maybe a year like this year when we've spent so much more time at home, and I've heard a lot of people have taken on projects maybe they weren't equipped to handle. Do you ever find yourself walking into a house where someone has tried to do the work themselves and maybe they've done more damage than good?
Yeah, we see that a lot. And there are a lot of contractors who used to build homes who think they're remodelers now, and they just don't have that kind of experience. And so we get to pick up the pieces from that too.
So walk me through the process then. How does it work? If someone reaches out and asks a Nordine or Mike, the Renaissance man at the place, to come out and go through all the steps that my home needs, how do they go from that point to having the project done before winter?
Well, obviously, the best thing to do is to contact us directly. And again, you can call our phone number at 888-4662. We also have a website that you can go ahead and put your information into, and then we'll call you back. In fact, I'm just sitting here looking at one on the screen right now that I'm going to call when we're done here to set up an appointment so that we can get out. The schedules right now are tight. We're booking things into late October, mid-November, because
wow,
here we are. I mean, it's been crazy all year long, and it hasn't slowed down. We've never lacked for things to do.
Fair enough.
And the biggest issue right now is getting material in hand. We've seen items that used to be stock items. They're 6 to 8 week waits. A lot of things have been just discontinued because the vendors can't get them anymore. So a lot of it is made in China, and we all know how that process has been working out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. A great point to mention that this year, more so than ever, the amount of challenge that exists for a company like yours to actually get all the materials you need to do a project, even after you've noticed the need for it, is so different than in past years that it makes sense as soon as possible, as soon as people are ready, and to get on the list for you guys, to call that number, 309-888-4662, chat with Mike, and figure out how to get this looked at as soon as possible. Do you guys do the house visit to determine what the project's like? What does that entail?
I absolutely do a home visit. It's important that I put my eyes on it, evaluate the situation, discuss with the homeowner what it is they want to change, they don't like about what they have, what they would love to see, where they've seen it, the kind of materials that they're thinking about. And of course, one of the more important things is budget. There's bathrooms, for example, vary anywhere from 10 to 15,000, upwards of 30 to 40,000. I mean, it really depends on your budget, your taste, and your selections.
Okay, Mike Kearns from Nordine Remodeling, the interior remodeling manager / pretty much can cover anything you need. The number one more time, 309-888-4662. Before I let you go, Mike, is there anything I missed? Anything we should mention to listeners as far as getting your home winterized as soon as possible?
We should. If you're thinking about siding, we need to get that ball rolling right now. Today, tomorrow is not too late or not too early. We need to get that all taken care of so we can get that done.
Absolutely. And again, to mention, the materials themselves are more challenging than ever to get, so that is one of the many reasons to get that done sooner than later.
Depends on the product we're using, absolutely.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks so much. I hope to talk to you again soon, Mike.
Well, thanks for the opportunity.
No problem. And go Yankees, right?
Go Cubs.
All right. Talk to you, buddy. Exactly. Quick break, a lot more in just a bit. AM 1230 WJBC. For fans of the Cubs, there is always next year. That's well, okay, fine. They won a World Series. That was a fun time for a lot of people. Quick break, a lot